I've got a very important question to ask before we start this episode. And the question is the education system really failing us, or are we learning the wrong way? Welcome to Satish Kumbhar Podcast, the place where we question the systems shaping our lives, challenge conventional thinking, and explore ideas that can help us grow into a better version of ourselves. But wait, before we go ahead, if you have not yet hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out another episode, go ahead and do it right now. Okay? Now today's topic is something almost every one of us has experienced personally, and that is education system. Have you ever sat in a classroom and wondered, why am I learning this? Or maybe after finishing school or college, you realized there were so many important life skills nobody ever taught us. How to manage money, how to deal with stress, how to communicate confidently, how to think critically, how to adapt in a fast-changing world. So today, we are asking a powerful question. Is the education system really failing us? And if it is, what can we do about it? To help understand this topic, I have divided this into 7 segments, or you can say 7 questions that will help us understand this topic very clearly, okay? So let's dive in. Segment number 1. The world was built for a different world, or the system was built for a different world. Now, to understand the problem in education today, we first need to understand where the system came from. Modern schooling was largely designed during the Industrial Revolution, everybody knows, right? And factories needed workers who were disciplined, obedient, punctual, and capable of following instructions. Schools were structured in a very similar way. Rows of desks, strict schedule, standardized tasks, memorization-based learning, and honestly, that model worked for that era. But here's the problem. The world has changed dramatically. Today's success depends more on creativity, adaptability, communication, emotional intelligence, and problem solving than simply memorizing informations. According to the World Economic Forum, some of the most valuable skills for the future include analytical thinking, resilience, creativity, leadership, and technological literacy. Yet many schools still prioritize memorization and standardized testing over these real-world skills. And that creates a huge disconnect between education and reality. Segment number 2. Are students learning or just passing exams? Let's be honest for a moment, guys. How much of what we studied in school do we actually use today? Many students spend years preparing for exams only to forget most of the information shortly afterward, right? Research from cognitive scientists have shown that rote memorizations often lead to short-term retention rather than deep understanding. Students become experts at passing tests, but not necessarily at solving real-life problems, and this pressure starts early. Grades become more important than curiosity. Marks become more important than learning. Fear of failure becomes more stronger than excitement of discovery. Imagine a student who is brilliant at art, business, music, storytelling, or entrepreneurship, but struggles in traditional academics. The system may label them weak, but are they really weak? Or are they simply talented in ways the system doesn't measure? That's an important question. Segment number 3. What skills do schools really teach? Now think about this. Most students spend over a decade in school, but how many schools teach financial literacy, investing, taxes, communication skills, emotional intelligence, negotiations, entrepreneurship, stress management? No one. These are life-changing skills. A report by the Organizations of Economic Cooperation and Development found that financial literacy level among young adults remains surprisingly low worldwide. And that's scary because money affects almost every aspect of adult life. Many young people enter adulthood without understanding debt, savings, budgeting, and investing. And at the same time, technology is evolving rapidly. Artificial intelligence, automation, digital marketing, coding, content creation, these are becoming major opportunities. Yet many educational systems still move slowly when adapting to these changes. That leaves students learning for a world that no longer exists. Segment 4. The mental health crisis in education. One of the most serious issues connected to education today is mental health. Students are under enormous pressure to perform, pressure to compete, pressure to meet expectations, pressure to succeed before they even understand themselves. Now, according to global mental health studies, anxiety and stress among students have increased significantly over the past decade. Burnout is becoming common even among teenagers. And sadly, many students suffer silently because mental health support in schools is often limited. We talk about academic performance constantly, but not enough about emotional well-being. A student may score high marks while internally struggling with anxiety, depression, loneliness, or fear. That's why education cannot just focus on producing successful workers. It must also help build healthy human beings. Segment 5. Real-world examples of alternative learning. Now here's the interesting part. Some of the most important or most successful people learn differently. Take Steve Jobs. He often spoke about how creativity and curiosity shaped his thinking over a more than traditional structured education. Elon Musk has criticized outdated educational methods and emphasized problem solving over memorization. And many entrepreneurs, creators, programmers, designers, and freelancers today are learning skills online through courses, YouTube mentorship, and real-world practice. In countries like Finland, education systems have experimented with less standardized testing and more collaborative, project-based learning. Students work on real-world challenges instead of simply memorizing textbook content. And the results have often been impressive. This doesn't mean schools are useless. It means education must evolve. Segment 6. So is the education system completely broken? Now here's my perspective, okay? I don't think the education system is complete failure. But I do think it's outdated. It was built for stability. Today's world demands adaptability. The system which still provides important foundations: reading, writing, mathematics, discipline, social interaction, basic knowledge. Okay? Those things matter. But relying only on traditional education is no longer enough. The people who thrive today are often lifelong learners. They continue learning beyond classrooms. They read books, I read books, take online courses, build projects, learn digital skills, network with people, experiment, fail, improve. The responsibility is no longer only on schools, it's also on us. Segment 7. What should education look like in future? Okay. Imagine an education system where students learn financial literacy, communication, creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, technology skills, leadership, entrepreneurship, collaborations. Imagine classrooms where students solve real world problems instead of memorizing information for temporary exams. Imagine schools teaching students how to learn, not just what to memorize. That's the future many experts believe we need. And honestly, I think it's possible. But change starts with awareness. The more conversations we have, the more pressure there is for systems to evolve. Now I want to hear from you. What's one thing you learned in school that actually helped you in real life? And what's one thing you wish schools had taught you? Was it financial literacy, mental health, public speaking, business, relationships, technology? Share your thoughts in the comments because your experience matters. And someone else listening may relate to your story. At the end of the day, education should empower people, not limit them. And while the system may still have flaws, we live in a time where knowledge is more accessible than ever before. You can learn almost anything online. You can build skills from your phone. You can reinvent yourself at any age. So never stop learning, and remember, your education does not end when school ends. It begins when curiosity begins. So, thank you for listening and watching this episode. And if you enjoyed this episode of Satish Kumbhar Podcast, make sure to subscribe. Share this episode with someone who needs to hear it, someone whom you know and someone whom you love. And I'm going to leave you the same way I leave after every episode. Make your mission to make someone else's day better. Hope you have an amazing day. And don't forget to leave a comment telling me your thoughts about the education system. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, this is Satish Kumbhar signing out until we meet again with a new topic, with a new story. Thank you and bye-bye.